living with autism. So, my name is Ellie, and my daughter, Nevaeh, got diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, pervasive development disorder, not otherwise specified, which is just a really big word for autism. Now, autism is kind of a scary word. Like, nobody wants to hear the word autism. When I think of autism, or at least when I thought of autism, I thought of that kid that sat in the corner, squished, rocking back and forth, making weird and wonderful sounds to themselves. But what I've discovered is that autism is just a big fancy word. It's a label, and it just means that your child's a little bit different. When my daughter was born, we never thought anything was wrong. She was perfect. She was beautiful. She had gorgeous, dark, thick hair and beautiful blue eyes. She was just the love of my life, and she still is. Then, she hit all the milestones. By 6 months, she was crawling. By 7 months, 8 months, she was walking around furniture. She took her first steps 3 weeks before her first birthday. She could eat with a spoon and a fork and drink from a sippy cup by the time she was 18 months. But the public health visitor who had been visiting my home said that she thought something was wrong with Nevaeh's speech. And I thought to myself, wow, some kids just take longer to talk. And I said, well, if she's not talking in at least two-word sentences by the time she's 2, I'll have her checked out for speech and language. Well, at 2, she was barely saying more than mom, dad, cup, and very few other things, mostly names. So I took her to a speech pathologist. And during the assessment, my daughter kept grabbing my face with her hands and making me look at her. I honestly didn't know what to think. I had never had any other children. I'd never had to do anything other than babysit, which, you're not around the kids long enough to really discover if something's wrong. The speech pathologist told me that she thought there was something else going on with my daughter. She definitely needed speech therapy, but did I ever think there could be something wrong with her? Anyway, so when Nevaeh was 3 years and 9 months old, we went to Niagara Children's Center, where we spent an hour and a half with a team. They played with Nevaeh, trying to get her to build towers, to play with dolls, put things in cars. Basically just played with her. Nevaeh wasn't really interested in doing any of that. She was more interested in lining up things, building the towers straight up, and doing everything else, other than what they had asked her. They questioned me about all my family history, mental disabilities, and truth be told, I'm adopted, so I really don't know a whole lot about my biological, medical side. At the end of the assessment, they left the room and they talked. My mother-in-law had come with me that day, and I remember them talking with my mother-in-law, and she kept telling me, why do they need to know all of this? What's going on? And I was like, I don't know. They're assessing her speech. They walked back into the room, and the pediatrician said to me, your daughter has autism spectrum disorder, pervasive development disorder, not otherwise specified. My heart sank to the ground. What did that mean? What was I supposed to do now? I mean, like I said, I thought autism was a child squished into a corner, rocking back and forth, making noises to themselves. All of a sudden, I felt like a crappy mother. I felt like I don't even know my own child. Like, how could I miss this? How could I not see that something was wrong? How could I? And then I thought, what have I been doing wrong? The truth be told is that I wasn't doing anything wrong. How was I supposed to know? Autism is a disorder that is very hard to diagnose, and most kids don't get diagnosed until they're school age. We just happen to be the lucky ones. I remember going home and telling my husband, and my mother-in-law and I didn't really talk on the way home. Neither of us really knew how to feel about it. All of a sudden, my attitude towards my daughter changed. I started treating her differently. I kept wondering, is that because she has autism? Is that because she has autism? And everything changed. And then all of a sudden I started thinking about, what does that mean for her future? When you're pregnant with your baby and you feel them growing inside and you pick out a name and you think about all the things you can do with them, like going fishing or their first bike ride or you know, everything. The first time you get to take them to the mall or to a movie or just even simple things like grocery shopping, going to a birthday party, everything. You wonder what that means for your life. And yeah, it changes everything. You realize that, yeah, when I take my daughter to the grocery store, that temper tantrum, that's not a temper tantrum. That's her way of telling me, Mom, I've had enough. The lights, the sounds, the people, everything is overstimulating for me. Birthday parties. Recently, Nevaeh got invited to her first birthday party. Now, because of reasons uncontrollable, we weren't able to go. But I hummed and hawed for 3 weeks since the invitation came in. Do I let her go? Do I not let her go? Is the parent prepared to deal with this? If something happens, like a meltdown, is the parent going to be able to deal with this? It totally changes your whole perspective on life. But through this blog, I'm going to show you that life with autism is livable, that your child or a child with autism is a perfectly normal child. They have needs, they have wants, they're funny, they do funny things. They're beautiful people in and of themselves. They just see the world differently than we do. So I hope you keep tuning in, and I'll chat later.